the eyes of the public or whatever, the law enforcement, whatever it may be. But it'll hold you accountable.
Right.
You will never go back if you put that out.
Is that what you were afraid of at first? I mean, of writing down your story was the potential legal consequences? Like, did you think...
That was kind of my way to disguise how I felt.
Right.
I felt that if I did it and I failed at the business, that I could go back.
Right.
So I was kind of disguising how I really felt by saying that, as put it in fiction. So that really made me think it through more, because, you know, I got to succeed.
Yeah.
I can't, you can't do things half-assed.
Yeah.
You got to set your standards high.
And before, I love what you're saying, and I love what you're talking about, but I want, I want you to kind of, everyone that's listening here, I mean, the Sex and Suicide and the podcast we do is all about embracing who we are and being transparent and owning our shit.
Yeah.
So that we can move forward in this way. So, like, how did that feel for you? And would you encourage everyone to kind of go through that? I mean, I think it's a huge step for growth. What do you think?
It's a massive step for growth. There's a massive step for growth for, you know, I kind of argued with him about it. And he said, put it on paper. And I dug deep and I put it on paper. And the day it was published, I felt a great sigh of relief.
How much anxiety did you feel going into that day, though? Were you nervous?
I was shitting my fucking pants. There was a good probably week of phone calls every day to the publisher and Johnny's secretary and the whole team that we worked with to do the book. And they're like, Jordan, it's game over. Like, the book is going out.
Yeah, like you can't.
There's no reprints. It's hitting the streets.
Yeah. So did you have to sign a waiver and everything saying?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah. It's selling all over the world. Yeah.
So I mean, now you own your story. You've learned from your story, and I think that's Absolutely. A huge thing to do. I mean, until you kind of own it and learn from it, it's really hard to move forward. You're just going to keep doing the same thing you do every weekend, whether it's drinking and fucking partying. I mean, you build these habits, and you have to find some way to interrupt that pattern, right? And so by putting that down on paper, by really fucking saying, you know, this is what I've done, this is who I am, how did you feel about yourself when you were looking at that?
When I read it the first time, almost puked in my mouth a bit.
yeah.
And I took the books to my mom and my dad, and my mom read it, and she looked at me, and she had tears rolling down her face. She's like, I had no idea. My dad was proud of me.
Really?
Yeah. He was blown away.
Wow.
He's always supported me, and
my Good brother for you, man.
Yeah, and my brother and my brother's wife, Karen. She was always. They didn't know the extent of what I was up to. Neither of them did. And they were both blown away too. They were like, wow, I'm really, really proud of you. Really
were you disguising it with the electrician stuff?
Yeah, to a degree.
To a degree?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the driving and traveling with hydro made it really easy to do drops.
Right? Yeah, no kidding.
Yep.
Wow. And so you kind of had to face what was the hardest part? Was it facing your mom and your dad? Like, was that the part? I know that's the part that would bother me the most, is probably like, they're going to fucking think I'm even more of a disappointment and more of a failure.
The hardest part for me was really accepting that this was the route that I was going. I really wanted to make it happen, but there was some inner conflict in me that wanted a way out in case I failed. And even though the amount of growth and personal development I was going through, I didn't realize that, you know, when you take that leap of faith, you got to grow your wings on the way down.
Yeah.
You're not going to jump off with a full wingspan. You're going to fall. You're going to hit some rocks.
Oh,
You're going to be thinking you're going to die, and you're going to crawl right back into the hole that you came from.
Right.
And that's what I was worried about. So once it really got out, the anxiety and the sickness, it went away after a little while. I mean, there were some other family members that were really upset that I haven't talked to this day.
Did they obviously judged you for your decisions?
Big time. Yeah. A lot of people have judged me from it, but it made me stronger in the fact of facing the adversity that we all face, and understanding that, you know, if you really put your mind to something, you know, you raise your standards, you find that compelling vision, and you figure out what it is that you want. And you don't wake up in the morning and just push yourself out of bed. It's such a fucking compelling vision that it pulls you to what you want to do. And that's what I needed. Once it was out and things really started to ramp up, I got a feeling of, you know, a sense of release of emotion where I felt really good about it. It's like, you know, I'm not going back. I'm not doing that. Whatever it happens, no matter how many times I fall, I'm going to get back up. I'm going to keep moving towards my dreams and goals, no matter what the obstacle. You know, I'm going to look fear in the eye, and I'm going to go out there. I'm going to do what I got to do to get it done.
Good for you, man.
You know? And I'm nowhere near where I want to be with the business, but there's a lot of other things in my life that I've definitely accomplished. And it's funny when you start to really push yourself towards, you know, your dreams and your goals, and everybody has incompatible goals and different dreams that you fight for. I think the hardest part is rewarding yourself once you hit a goal. Sometimes I'll hit a goal and I'll just be on to the next thing. I'm like, I haven't even stopped to smell the concrete.
Yeah.
I just hit something that I've been trying to do for a year, 2 years. You know, and you get so focused on your drive, you forget to sit back and look around and be like, wow, I'm moving in the right direction. You know,
I agree with you 100%. I mean, there's a lot of things that I've accomplished actually pretty silently because I take a lot of my courses and things like that. People don't really know what I'm up to in my sober life. I don't really talk about it unless I'm doing it anymore. Yeah, I've learned that lesson. I said, you know what? I'll talk about it when it's happening.
You get paid in public for what you do in private. Buddy.
Sure.
Yeah.
But there's certain courses and certifications that I've managed to accomplish that, you know, I don't know, being sober. I mean, I'm almost 17 months sober now.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Thanks, pal.
That's awesome. Buddy.
But you don't know. It's like, how do I celebrate anymore? And you kind of have to look back on the things that you enjoyed as like a kid and what made you excited. So like, I have to get excited about going to Merlimay in the summer and having like a Sunday on cheat day, you know? And you know, from being in the fitness industry as well, I mean, people look forward to that reward.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, I think we're in a society today where we feel like we earn all this shit like daily. Yeah. And that's why we feel like we deserve to...
We're entitled.
We're entitled. We feel like we deserve to shop every fucking day if we have the money. We feel like we deserve to eat whatever the fuck we want, and that's why we're fat. Like, you know, we have all these things that should be treated as rewards or accomplishments that we're just taking for granted now.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
And so I agree with you when you say, fuck, man, I didn't even stop to celebrate. But it's almost like the celebration is the knowledge and the drive to get on to that next thing.
Yeah, exactly. You've laid out the blueprint. The blueprint's there, and you've done it, and you do it again and again, and it just starts to become so second nature, where that's the best part. And I think the celebration for me is paying it forward. Yeah. Take what I've learned and passing that on to people. When
like you're doing now.
Yeah. You know, help enough people get what they want in life, you're automatically going to get what you want in life. You know what I mean? And that's again, all about setting your own standards. Like you talk about everybody being entitled and why we get fat. You know, people like, well, you're in fitness, I'm in fitness. You know, people ask me all the time, it's like, you know, I'm fat and I want to get thin. It's like, okay, well, why? It's like, because I don't look good. I'm like, that's not good enough. Yeah. That's not compelling enough to get you out of bed.
You need to dig deeper.
You got to dig real deep. Real deep. You know, I want to be able to achieve these goals, and I can't because I got zero energy because I'm a fat blob and I eat potato chips all damn day, and I'm going to fail my kids because I can't even wake up in time from having a nap on the couch covered in Cheetos to get my kid to soccer practice because I don't have any energy. Right. That is a good why. Yep. Get your kid to soccer practice by getting off your ass and getting to the gym. Sure. Make it happen. Yeah. That's a must. Yep. That's not a should.
That's a necessity.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's where you turn your shoulds into musts. Yeah. You'll see a big difference. Raise your standards.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. How do you feel about, I mean, you obviously have put some things on paper. So when it comes to setting goals, do you think that are you one of those guys that writes it down on paper and says okay. So do you think that people, they say these things and they talk the talk, but they don't really they don't put the steps in motion to really follow through on what they're really wanting at the end of the day?
Yeah. I mean,
I can tell you right now I want to lose weight. But if I don't have a plan and I haven't really written down a way to get there, I can just keep saying that I'm preaching it, and really nothing's going to happen.
That's right. That's right. There's more than just one thing doing it. I mean, you gotta have that compelling vision of what it is that you want, and you got to put it in place, right? It's like you don't want to drive into that pole, like Tony Robbins says. It's a great little speech, and you don't want to drive into this pole, but. Sorry, I'm getting away from the mic.
That's okay.
We all know that where your focus goes, that's where you're going to go, right? So trying not to go to that pole, you're going to hit the pole. It's like, have you ever noticed when you're driving on the highway and you hit the rumble strip? Yeah. You look at the rumble strip, but you're trying to get away from it, and you keep zigging across it? You ever notice that? I mean, but if you look way up the road to the curve, you're off the rumble strip in 2 seconds. Yeah. It's the way the mind works, right? Yeah. So, I mean, step one is having that compelling vision of where you're going and knowing what you got to do. But how do you know what you're going to do is going to work, right? Like you're talking about, we're putting the list down. Well, you need to have the right tools. You got to have the right map, the right blueprint. You need to have a mentor, you know?
I think mentor is key.
Very key.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, everybody needs a mentor at whatever it is that you're doing. There's somebody, we go to school to get good grades, to get into a good college, to go get a good job, but you're not going to get that good job if you're not leaning or standing on, the giant shoulders that you want to be a brain surgeon. You're going to learn from one of the best brain surgeons at university, right?
Yeah.
So you got to stand on his shoulders, and that's your mentor. He's going to give you the tools you need to succeed, right?
Yeah.
It's no different as an entrepreneur. You need to find the people that you look up to and listen to what they say and take massive and immediate action towards getting what you want by what they're telling you to do. And that's how you're going to get there, right?
Yeah.
And step 3 is the inner conflict. Mm-hmm. You're going to have a lot of inner conflicts that could be holding you back, right?
I think that's key. Yeah, the inner conflict, I think that's key for this podcast too, because a lot of people that I reach out to, or that have reached out to me and think about coming on, the inner conflict takes over. And this is somewhere where I want people to feel safe. Like, you can always say no to the questions I ask, or if I ask you a question that's totally out of left fucking field about sex or whatever, which a lot of people do expect, you can put me in my place. I'm not going to sit here and probe you, but the key is to make people comfortable enough to face that inner conflict and just kind of own their shit and move forward with it and say, this is who I am. This is who, accept me or don't. But don't give a shit about what anyone else thinks about you. I mean, it has no fucking effect on your future whatsoever. No. The sooner that you can get that in your mind and stop caring what people think and just be you, the much happier, in my opinion, you'll be.
Absolutely. Everybody's got an opinion, right? And people's opinions aren't going to pay your bills.
No, not at all.
That's for damn sure. Who gives a fuck what they think? Just do you and just get out there and make it happen.
And just getting onto the mentor thing, I know we're kind of getting into a little bit of motivational talk, which I love. I love this mindset with you, by the way. So you're one of the people, the rare people I can talk about this stuff. Yeah. But I was at a conference. You mentioned Tony Robbins a few times. I was at a conference a few weeks ago and I heard that story. Yeah, he was there. He did a 3-hour talk. There was a bunch of people there that were multimillionaires, billionaires. Jim from Dragon's Den, lots of people. But the thing that they kept repeating was that school, like university and college, is where you go to develop the social skills with the people who you will be employing one day. Yeah. And it's because it doesn't teach you any. That's where having a mentor is key. I mean, if we were just paired up with, if we knew deep down what we wanted to do at a young age, we found our passion, like you say, what pulls you out of bed in the morning. Yeah. If we were to find someone and be paired with that person that does that thing, that's mastered that thing, that's a lot more of an effective way to build a business quicker, or whatever you want to do. Your empire would be built. And you wouldn't be in student debt. You wouldn't be working other jobs that you're not passionate about to pay it off. And it's a fucked up system when you start looking at it from a bigger picture.
It is, and you need those tools in place to collapse time frames. I mean, society builds us to be malleable and palatable and moldable to society's purposes. Yeah. So they pull the wool over our eyes, Your parents probably said the same thing to you that they said to me. Go to school, get good grades, to get into a good college, so you'll get a good job. Well,
times have changed.
There's more entrepreneurs emerging out of the blue, and again, they're the overnight
garages
success.
And basements.
Yeah, but they're not the overnight success. That's all you see because they're getting paid in public for what they're doing in private.
Right.
Their prime time work schedules from 8 p.m. till 2 a.m.
Sure.
You know what I mean? They're grinding it out hard.
Yeah.
You ask any, you're talking these seminars.
Yeah.
Multi-millionaires, billionaires are going to these seminars. Well, they don't need the seminars. They need to lean on somebody just like you and I need to lean on anybody. Yeah. And the funny thing is, let's go back to the business of multi-level marketing, and this is a huge thing I see time and time again, and it's so sickening. I see so many people go talk to their best friend or their neighbor that hates life, and they're in debt. They don't have money. Negative this, negative that.
And it's fucking contagious.
Yeah,
the negativity is very contagious.
Totally. But here you are. You've got the tools. You've got the product. You've got your belief system. You've dealt with your inner conflicts. And you've got a mentor that's making bazillions of dollars telling you how to build this thing. And like my friend Johnny Wimbury, who doesn't, benefit financially whatsoever from me, but will pour into me time and time again. Mm-hmm. How does that benefit him? Yeah. He's trying to help me because that's what professionals do. And that's what people that care about people understand, is that you need to pay it forward. That is your way to celebrate. But these people, if they're new in the game, they've got that millionaire telling them what to do, whatever it is, that very successful person. But when their next door neighbor or their best friend says, that's not going to work, you're an idiot. Yeah. They go, oh, maybe it won't.
Yeah.
Well, again, your inner circle.
Yeah.
You are the average of the 5 closest people you hang out with. That's going to ruin you.
And the funny thing is that goes back to the primitive function of and Tony Robbins talks about this as well. It's funny we're talking about him so much today. But
Tony's great.
Yeah, but our brains are primitive tools. So I mean, they were developed 2 million years ago, or whatever the case may be, when we were monkeys, right? So